This conference will now be recorded.
We're going to call this meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next regular meeting of the board will take place on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 at 9 a.m. at the Community Center, 3500 Edgewater Drive. Please silence or turn off your cell phones. Key upcoming events. December 4th, district tree lighting, 6:30. December 5th, district float participation for Sebring Christmas Parade. December 22nd, landowner candidacy closes for application for the January 23rd, 2026 election. December 23rd, landowner absentee ballots available for issuance for the January 23rd, 2026 landowner election. December 24th to 28th, Christmas holiday district office closed. December 31st, 9 p.m., district New Year's fireworks over Lake Granada. January 1st, 2026, district New Year's holiday district offices closed. Okay, next will be public comment. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes and may not be answered by a supervisor or staff member. However, all public comments will be captured for the record, and the general manager will address your issues, concerns after the meeting within 72 hours. Public comment, please.
Okay. Good evening, Mark Camp resident. Since I'm limited to 3 minutes, I'm going to read my remarks on the discussion and the vote that took place on October 7th pertaining to the motion to remove Mr. Gilpin's title. I know this is old news, but at the same token, I reserved my time then to go home and reflect. So I chose to go home and reflect on the events that had taken place at the meeting, offering some of these comments after hearing serious concerns from several of our residents within the community here. I was generally appalled by the result of that vote. I've attended or listened to every board meeting for several years and observed hostility among board supervisors towards our general manager as well as fellow board members. At the beginning of the last meeting, Mr. Boz gave an excellent presentation detailing the governance structure and his responsibilities as the general manager. He addressed past incidents, policy violations, and the overreach of certain board members into management duties, actions that, under policy, could warrant the removal of them if just cause was found. He also highlighted staff intimidation and instances where a board supervisor attempted to direct employees, which clearly violates our policies. Despite Boz's clarity, our president, in my observation, continued to overstep his boundaries, including suggesting to the general manager not write articles in our local newspaper promoting Sun and Lakes. Supervisor Herrick then outlined violations committed by Mr. Gilpin, including directing our local attorney to do unnecessary research at the cost of the taxpayers at Sun and Lake. This information was readily available on the website. All they had to do was look it up. It was then followed up by Supervisor Phillips expressing her deep concern and disbelief over the president's conduct. Supervisor Norton commented that a similar incident happened 8 to 12 months before, but was not addressed, implying that this case should be overlooked. With all due respect, I believe two wrongs don't make a right. Was Supervisor Norton and Supervisor McLaughlin aware of Mr. Mike Gilpin's wrongdoings? If so, I don't know why they would vote on his side. During public comments, several residents also spoke passionately about their concerns. Mr. Caramana, Mr. Wyatt, Mr. Bauer, Ms. Ledoux, they all had expressed concerns about the president's actions and not working in the best interest of our district. Finally, Mr. Brooks asked Mr. Gilpin if he was going to respond to any of these residents' concerns, and Mr. Gilpin replied, "The issues were misunderstandings and that he understood the limits of his authority even though he had already exceeded them. In other words, he admitted to his wrongdoings of guilt. Supervisor Herrick then moved on for a vote, second by Supervisor Phillips, to remove the president's title. Despite the substantial evidence presented and clear concerns raised by the residents, 3 of the 5 board members voted against it. In closing, I have a specific question for our district's legal counsel. I am not an attorney, so I need your help. I need your guidance. Under the Florida Ethics Law, Chapter 112, and the Florida Sunshine Law, Chapter 286, it states that if there is just cause or a potential conflict of interest, a supervisor in a special district must abstain from voting, particularly in a case where that subject of the vote involves that individual themselves. I would appreciate at your earliest convenience if you could give me a response to that, and I can give you my name and all the information later. Thank you very much. I appreciate all your time.
Any more public comment?
Jenny Cecil, resident. I just wanted to say thank you. They installed lights on our street yesterday, and also the new curbing that's happening around the Sun and Lake. Very much appreciated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Todd Phillips, and my wife and I live on Myrtle Beach. I was so looking forward to coming to last month's meeting to be able to see true politics and true elected officials conducting business in the purest of politics that there can be, and that's at the local level. How disappointed I was when I left the meeting. The lack of discussion around an agenda item, should Troon be retained or not. It is my understanding that last meeting was not the first meeting that this was discussed. However, there was a lack of knowledge at the board level of how much Troon saves us through discounted buying and how much money they would be saving by dropping Troon would be spent. Let's kick the can down the road in the truest Washington, D.C. fashion was the result of that discussion. Now, let me say, I play golf with Mr. Herrick. I have voted for Mr. Herrick, and I like Mr. Herrick. But I don't always agree with Mr. Herrick's positions on issues. I played golf with Mr. Gilpin. I have voted for Mr. Gilpin, and I like Mr. Gilpin, but I do not always agree with Mr. Gilpin's positions on issues. My disappointment in the lack of preparation on the topic of keeping Troon or not pales in comparison to my utter disbelief and the lack of discussion on should Mr. Gilpin remain as president of this board. After listening to Mr. Bossert's comments and the surprise that came from Mrs. Phillips, how could there not be a more thorough discussion on was there an ethical violation or not? Do we not, as a community and as a board, believe in accountability? The appearance was 2 elected officials, and I repeat, the appearance to me was 2 elected officials came to the meeting with their minds already made up. To my simple mind, it feels as there was only 1 or 2 reasons for their votes without further discussion. They voted against Mr. Herrick's proposal because it came from Mr. Herrick. And in the truest of Washington, D.C. politics, we vote as a block and not what is in the best interest of the topic at hand. Or they don't care about the ethical standards of this board. We can disagree on policy and implementation of policy, but we can never waver from the highest of ethical standards for elected officials. As my dad told me when I was learning about voting in politics, Todd, we need fewer politicians in Washington and more true statesmen. I guess the same can be said about Sun and Lake.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Carlos Navarro, Sun and Lake, San Ignacio. First, I'd like to recognize and thank everyone who helps makes the community what it is today. from the board and management team to many residents who volunteer their time and effort. Your dedication is reflected in the steady progress and improvement we see throughout Sun and Lake, and I truly appreciate that. I want to commend the board for publishing the fiscal year 2025-2026 report card and making the annual budget document available online. These are important steps towards transparency and accountability. However, the current budget document is 122 pages long, which makes it difficult for the average resident to holistically understand how the community is performing. Likewise, while the report card gives a useful letter grade such as A+ for execution, B for reporting, A for project accomplishment, and B+ for oversight and controls, and overall a B+, it is not user-friendly for the casual user to understand how success is defined or measured, or what drives these grades, including any benchmarking that may be used. To make the information more accessible, I like to recommend enhancing the Sun and Lake website with a key performance indicator dashboard. This dashboard should present both financial and operational performance in a simple visual way, while also showing ongoing tangible projects such as road and infrastructure improvement, street light installation, which is, I think it's wonderful that we have solar lights now on our street light, drainage, landscaping, and beautification projects, facility upgrades and maintenance effort. Each project could show whether it's planned, in progress, or completed, along with key details like target completion dates or budget use. Additionally, broader KPIs could include budget utilization rates, funds used versus plan, project completion timeline, maintenance response time and satisfaction levels, reserve funds strength, and oversight and control effectiveness. In closing, Sun Lake is already doing a great job, and improving our communication tools and participation. We can continue building a stronger, more connected community. Thank you for your time, and thank you to everyone who continues to make Sun and Lake a wonderful place to live. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Anyone else?
Brooks resident. I just have one quick question. Mr. Camp brought up all this information, and do we give them a chance to respond, or do we just decide we're not going to respond till later? I'd like to hear them either respond or say, we'll get back to you. And if they're going to get back to us, I'd like to know how you're going to communicate to everybody in the room. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. President, if you don't mind, just like the general manager will respond to these type of comments, since that comment was directed at our lawyer, can she just quickly respond that she will be getting back to them on that, Mr. Camp?
Okay.
If you don't mind, yeah.
This question has come up. I did write my opinion in an email to the general manager, and he can forward it to you. It's no problem. So he has your information. He can make that my analysis available. I'll leave that up to the general manager to decide.
I'll figure out if I refresh my memory on the email.
Any other comment?
Suzanne Wyatt, where is our other board member?
Pardon?
Where is our other board member?
He couldn't come tonight.
Okay,
Okay,
pardon me?
he couldn't come.
He had a significant personal reason, and I think that should have been told.
I Yeah. think we should.
His mother-in-law died,
Well, just
okay?
a significant personal
Well,
issue.
why are you being so ugly? I just asked where he was.
Well, we all can miss meetings. I don't understand this sometimes. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, I'm gonna put this in, our county commissioner is here, and I'm gonna ask him to come up and insert him into the agenda. Scott?
Good evening, Scott Carroy, Highlands County Commissioner, District 3. Thank you for allowing me to be placed on your agenda. My schedule's been a little bit unpredictable, especially on county commission meeting days like today. I do have a few things I'd like to share with your board and your residents. A couple things going on right now. The county is conducting what we call our Ridge to River Conservation Plan. It's a community-based study to establish conservation programs that will guide the protection of our natural resources, reflect the environmental conservation values of the community, and lay out a financial path for achieving said conservation goals and objectives. About a week or so ago, there was 3 public workshops, one in Sebring, Avon Park, and Lake Placid. Currently, you can go to highlandsfl.gov, and just under the search bar, you could put in Ridge to River. It will bring you to the website that you can click on to get more information. Public voting period on your conservation values, that is open until Friday, November the 14th. You'll be provided a video to watch and some top conservation values, which they will ask for your top 3 selections. Today at the County Commission meeting, we made significant changes to our SHIP program. That's the State Housing Initiative Program. That's a program that those funds are derived from documentary stamps from doc stamps that are recorded in the state of Florida. Then they distribute them to each county based on population. This is funding that's available to low-income people on first-time home purchases, home repairs, foreclosure prevention, and some other programs. Just last week, I attended our jail expansion top and out ceremony. That's a ceremony that is traditional in these type of construction projects. When it reaches the vertical peak and the roof on it, that project is going on as scheduled. Our landfill expansion that we've been working on for some time now is due to come to completion within the next 30 days. Those 2 projects totaling about $30 million. If you weren't aware, our hazardous waste center on 6,000 Skipper Road is now open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. And they do have a Saturday collection coming up this month, but I don't have the date in memory at this time. But it is open Monday through Friday. You can take any type of hazardous waste or electronic waste to properly dispose of them there. And last but not least, there's a Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT District 1, will conduct 2 public meetings for US 27 and Sebring Parkway intersection safety project in Highlands County. The proposed modifications are intended to improve safety and traffic operations by enhancing pedestrian features and reducing conflict points between vehicles. The meeting is going to be Thursday, November the 13th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Jack Street Civic Center. And there's also going to be a virtual public meeting on Wednesday, November the 19th. And you can find that information on the county calendar. That's all I have for you at this time, and I'd entertain any questions that you may have. Very good. Thank you so much. Take care. Yes, sir.
VA hospital.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Not, yeah, right, yeah, not that I'm aware of it, yeah. Yeah, not that I'm aware of it this time. That was part of the city project also, so I haven't been in on that loop, so really I don't have any information for you at this time, Bill. Yeah, it's gonna be a great resource for the county. Something long coming. Yes, sir. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All you have in your consent agenda, just the golf financials are delayed because of the end of year accounting. So you have your district financials as well as your minutes from last month. That's all we have for the consent agenda this month.
So this golf financials is that right?
No, sir, not on the agenda. Yeah, scratch that. We thought we'd get it today, but we didn't. So, yeah.
So we're just approving A and B and C.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Move to approve consent agenda item A and item C only.
A second.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton, Supervisor Phillips.
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
and President Gilpin.
Yes. Okay, action agenda, and pleased to have Advent Health here.
Yeah, got it. Get it.
Good evening, board members. My name is Kristen Johnson. I am the Advent Health Wauchula Hospital Administrator and Vice President, but I also serve our Sebring and our Lake Placid campuses. And I have a great opportunity that I wanted to present to you all tonight of how we are growing at Advent Health Sebring. For those of you who don't know, we have about 2,000 employees between our Sebring, Lake Placid, and Wauchula campuses. You can go to the next slide. And just a global overview, you know our mission is to extend the healing ministry of Christ. We get to come to work every day, and we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus to serve our patients, to meet them exactly where they are in some of their darkest and their worst moments. So we really take pride in the work that we do. On the next slide, you can see the global picture of where our entire company, we have 52 hospitals, we're located in 9 states. And on the next slide, you can see all the lives that we touch. We touch over 8 million patients a year between all of our hospitals. We have over 100,000 team members, and we are growing. And our community here is growing as well. And retention and workforce housing is something that we feel very strongly about at Advent Health Sebring. And an opportunity that I wanted to present to you all today, I'm not sure if you all are aware, but we have an internal medicine and a family medicine residency program. That is where physicians are coming into our community right here in Sebring, and they are doing their 3-year residency program within our hospital. We are now a teaching hospital. We're growing, and the future of where we are going is really indescribable. And at this time, July 26th, we will have 38 internal medicine residents, and we will have 24 family medicine residents. We're about to graduate our second cohort of family medicine residents, and we just graduated our first cohort of internal medicine residents. And what's even more beautiful is those doctors, when they're coming into this community, they love this community, they love serving, and they want to stay here. Even better. That just helps us improve state-of-the-art healthcare. We also have about 35 third and fourth year medical students too that come and do their rotations and their training right here at Sebring. So some opportunities that we want to provide not only to our residents but to this community to just expand what we do is we have an opportunity to partner with a company called Ludus Haas. It's on the next slide, to build an indoor 60,000 square foot pickleball facility. I know many of you here like to play pickleball and paddleball as well. It would be about a 60,000 square foot facility that would have 10 pickleball and 10 paddleball courts, all indoor, depending on what the level of need is for this community here. If you want more pickleball, we would do that. But would also obtain different wellness initiatives. We would be able to host tournaments for the community to bring people in to be a part of who we are here. So this is something that we want to present, and you can see through the slides, there's several different pictures. That's what the facility would look like. The plan would be, if you all would consider, would be to build it behind our hospital campus here in Sebring and connect it in conjunction with Sun and Lake and the hospital. You can see that's what the indoor facility would look like. It's state of the art. It would be a huge investment to this community. It can accommodate up to about 1,200 people based on the square footage. It would also have different wellness initiatives, different simulators where we can teach health and wellness as well. With that being said, that would provide an additional wellness opportunity for our team. But even more than that, workforce housing is a very big struggle for our hospital right now. With all of the employees we have, with all of the residents that are coming into our market, and that will just continue to grow, their biggest need is housing. So we have an opportunity to invest in about, our plan is 80 apartment complex units behind the hospital too is our goal, where we could house those residents, we could house our nursing students, we could house our team that is able to provide the care back to you. And we feel very strongly that if we care for our team, it's going to help them be able to care for our patients better too. we have about probably 20 to 30% of our employees currently now drive into Highlands County because they can't find proper and affordable housing and sustainable housing here. So our goal, in partnership with Possibility of Sun and Lake, we would love, it's hard for you to see this land here, but you all have some land that we want to propose if we could partner with you all to lease that land from you so we could build this pickleball facility and also build this apartment complex unit. Knowing that this is going to bring additional residents to your community, it's going to help you with recruitment as well. It will help us with recruitment of new team members and new physicians because that is one of the #1 reasons why we cannot find team members and we cannot retain them is because we just don't have affordable housing in our community. So if the opportunity presents itself, we would love to really have you consider working with us on these 2 projects. And I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Boz, is that not landlocked lot? that
Yeah,
we
so
have?
we've been having this discussion with Advent for about a year now. I believe we started it a while back. We had a meeting just 2 weeks ago with Vice President Norton. He came because he came representing the board just to get a second set of eyes for this meeting. The land we're talking about, you see on the screen there, Advent Hospital, and then there's a large portion of district property that's attached to our Unit 4 plant. So that's the low pressure system plant to the north that we call Unit 4 off of Frontage Road. That's that area with the sandy pits. That's the plant. But there's some area there, and what is that, 24 plus 8 acres of district-owned parcels that is parallel to Ponce de Leon and parallel to basically Frontage Road area just north of the hospital, district-owned, that we're discussing the ability for us to transition that to housing. Right now, there's been no plans whatsoever in the district, not even in our long-range development plans from the master planning of the district. That area was kind of just left as general space for our plant to grow. But since we are now building our new plant further west, and this plant will be decommissioned probably in the 5 to 10-year window, it probably makes a good opportunity that if we have an interested partner, that we could offer this as an opportunity. There's a lot of work still be done. There's some planning. There's some offsets of water and environmental offsets that we would work through before it really comes back to you all for guidance of how far we want to take it. But I think it's a very valuable investment not only to the community because, as Chris said, it's 80 units.
80 units is our
So
plan.
that's at 160 potentially new residents. That's 80 new utility hookups. That's an indoor facility that, while owned by Advent, the pickleball would amplify our 18 courts for outdoor, and the proximity by shuttle or by golf cart for that community that loves that type of sport. There would be no other place that we would have national level tournaments here. When you add theirs to ours, it's a given that there'd be national level tournaments coming to Sun and Lake, and then we get the right spotlight we need. So a lot more work to be done on the specifics of that, but I definitely wanted to Advent to get this in front of y'all to get, if you have any specific questions of their plans, their growth.
But the land that we're talking, is it not, we don't have ingress or egress to those 2 pickup lots? Or am I
No,
thinking there's
it's bordered
different ones?
by access in all 4 sides.
But
Yes, sir.
I thought we owned a couple lots that don't have any access.
Not in this area.
Okay.
No, this is not, this is all Sun and Lake
All right.
acreage. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So we would have an investor who would invest in the infrastructure itself, and then we would subsidize a portion of that too to help pay for our employees. Sorry. So right now, I would say we would be able to house about 80 to 90% of that. We would leave it open, a portion of it open. If we could rent it out to our employees, then even better scenario. I don't see us turning anybody away as well. So it has been actually a long time that we've been discussing, especially with our residency program, which started over 4 years ago now. Every time a new resident comes in, and we get anywhere from 8 for family medicine and 11 to 15 for internal medicine.
Kristen,
Their biggest hardship.
would you take the mic out?
Yep.
It's got to go on record.
Anytime our new residents come into our community, their biggest hardship is finding housing. We've had some that have even said, I'm going to pull the trailer up behind my car. These are doctors that are coming into our community or trying to sleep on somebody's couch who was able to find housing. So that really impacts our recruitment efforts when they don't have housing. So to answer your question, we could probably fill it with all of our nursing staff, our doctors, and our employees. Yes. Yes. Mhm. Mhm. For future. Yeah. Yeah, because we're just going to. Okay. Okay. And that's where we will absolutely lean on you all for that input too. Okay. 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 Sure. No, absolutely. So I meet regularly with our legal team. Our executive team at the hospital meets every Wednesday, so we're meeting tomorrow. So I'll bring this back to them, and I'll get our attorneys involved. We can work with boss and really try to get something rolling if everybody's in favor of this. Yes, sir. Okay. So can I point here? So the plan, the idea, this is all protected wetlands. Our plan would be to put the pickleball facility here and then put the 80-unit apartment complex here with a common area in the middle. So would you live right near there? They would be really good tenants, very professional tenants. So yes, ample parking. We are all friends here. And if we're not, then we can work on that too. Yes. No, we would not subsidize public. Yep, just for our employees. And you think about it, they're putting in 12-hour shifts. So with them, when they leave here, they're driving anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. They're exhausted. That takes time away from their families, and we really strive on the well-being of our team too. We have a couple, not that we own, we have a couple, I think that we own, but not very many. But a lot of our residents have been able to find some housing. They share space within Sun and Lakes. But that is the biggest hardship we face. Yes, ma'am. Yes, residency, nursing, physical therapist. Mhm, mhm. Mhm, mhm. Correct. Yes. Nope. Yep. So our residency, the physicians, the doctors are here for 3 years. So after their 3rd year, our hope is that they stay within Advent Health, within our hospital system. But even if they don't, if they go elsewhere, we have a whole new residency program. Every year, we're turning new residents over. So it would be a turnkey operation, really.
You guys are going way
Way.
down a rabbit hole, way too early. So what I would ask is that, no, I hear you, sir. I got you. So what we have been asking, we've had detailed engineering meetings for Advent to provide us the laydown, the schematics, where's this building going? We're not even there yet. We have this concept.
Mhm.
So as we work that, then the pitch will come back to the board for direction. Are we doing a sale? Are we doing a dollar lease? Are we doing a dollar sale? We'll have that discussion. We have not gone down that road just yet. Because right now we have land that's available. We're trying to get a sense of the board of if this even is an interest. Because if the board gives a sense it's not, then Advent's going to be going to look somewhere else across the street. We don't want them to do that. because we have land that is valuable as well as available, and we don't have plans for it. So we're going to lay all this stuff out and then present our recommendation to the board for decisions.
Okay, so,
I agree.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Mhm. So the pickleball is a different investor. So that's a turnkey operation on their end. So that would be a
If-
totally,
If you look at the map, there are two separate projects. We're
Yes.
working collectively here, but the pickleball is that sliver that goes out, whole separate investor, whole separate
yes.
builder, whole separate concept, but it's nested into the concept of
Whole person
housing.
house.
So the square is what's available, but the reality is Advent's only need is about 8 to 10 acres. They do not need that whole spot. But we are laying that out in infinite detail with our engineers to present you guys a little bit more detail on this.
Thank you. Thank you.
This will be, these slides are in the packet. I will add the slides we just got tonight into the
Yes.
packet tomorrow morning. So you'll see everything that was presented, sir, tomorrow. Yep.
I had a couple technical difficulties.
Yep.
My apology. Anything else? Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you. Mhm. And that's why this is a perfect opportunity for that. And that is our goal. Once these residents fully graduate, we want them to stay in this community. We want them to have that one-on-one connection with our patients. It's important. You all know it's kind of like a family member. Your doctor is very important to you, and we really want to establish that here. So that is one of our biggest efforts for recruitment and retention. So
Kristen, I'd like to, when you're done, ask the board
yes,
to talk, okay?
absolutely.
But go ahead out there, there's,
You want me to keep going out here?
yeah.
Okay. Yes. So that's something that it is scalable. I think there's opportunity for growth. We have a lot of growth strategy that we're working on at Advent Health Sebring. This hospital is going to grow in the next couple of years. We will be bringing on many new employees. So I do think there's an opportunity to scale it even larger. Yes, ma'am. The new addition within the next 2 years. We're going to start, yes, complete. Mhm. Yes, ma'am. That's okay. Oh, the walking trail. That's a whole nother topic. Sorry, boss. So yes. So the walking trail, that is something new that was brought to life by our foundation. So I'm over our foundations too. So we feel very strongly about health and wellness for our community, for our patients, and for our team. So yeah, that's a wellness trail that you are all welcome to use. We're still adding on benches. I think we've got some more trees to add in. We will do a formal unveiling and groundbreaking, but that just is part of our mission for whole person care, whole person healing.
Kristen,
Yes,
what
sir.
impact does that have on the plans for that wellness center?
So that is still happening. We have our golf tournament this Friday. The sales and the revenue from that golf tournament will impact that wellness center. That is a 16,000 square foot wellness center, which is going to also incorporate the lifestyle medicine that we've talked about, possibly cardiac rehab, our conference room space, so we can bring in those key lectures with our physicians to give you educational awareness on health and wellness. So that is still happening. We've raised close to $3 million for that campaign. As you all know, construction costs have increased considerably. But we're working with a grant writer now too to help us possibly secure some matching grants for that funding. But that's still happening.
Is there any other questions out there?
Yes, ma'am. Within the hospital. So yes, that's part of our Wholeness Center initiative. And then also this Ludus Haas, the pickleball court, would have wellness activities as well, a gym. Anything
Okay.
else out here? Okay.
Does any of the board members have any questions?
What number of employees do you have now, and what percentage would this increase? Are we looking at like a 10% increase?
Of
20?
employees?
Yes.
Yes, sir. In 2 years, we're going to have about yes, you're correct, a 10%. About 250 new employees we are going to add on within the next 2 years. So there's a big need there. And then our residency will have 38 and 24 starting July of 2026.
And you mentioned rental units, and is this going to be for adults only or children or?
So some of our residents do have families. So yes, we would allow, it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom opportunity is what we're looking at. So yes, we would allow children to come in for our residents for sure.
And has there been a price of the rentals?
Yes, so we've gotten some conceptual pricing, and you're looking at, for an 80-unit complex, you're looking probably around 17 to 20 million. For a 160-unit complex, we're looking about 35, 40 million.
And the rentals, the price on the rentals have?
I don't have all that yet. Yeah, we haven't even, this is just all conceptual. We just really wanted to come tonight to see if this is something that interests you all. If you want to grow alongside of us. Advent Health is committed to this community. We're here to stay. I'm born and raised in this community. I was born at our old Walker Memorial Hospital in Avon Park. So it's really special to be able to come back home and be part of the community that raised me. So I can assure you that we hold true to our values, and it's important for us to make sure that when you walk into our hospitals every day, that you are cared for, because it's overwhelming, and we're always here to extend that continuous love to you all. But as we grow, these are some of our major needs.
Anybody else? Bev?
I'm sorry.
I think
I
it's,
just, you had a gym over there that we were allowed to use, and then it went away.
That's part of our Wholeness Center. That we're still raising funds for that.
Yeah, but it went away. So then you came to us and asked for 100 million, and that did not happen because couldn't get matching funds. Is this the same project that you asked for the matching funds for?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We asked for 500,000 with that opportunity
Yeah.
several years ago with you
Yeah.
all. Not
So I'm
100 million.
confused. I've been on the board long enough to hear.
Yep, these
a
are
lot
two
of
separate
stuff.
projects.
Okay,
2 separate projects.
so you can understand my,
Absolutely. Yep.
because I've been here long enough to see that
Mhm.
it didn't always come.
Pickleball was never a part of our Wholeness Center.
Absolutely, it wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't.
And that's why that is a totally separate
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
With a different investor, not Advent Health.
Okay.
Craig, do you have anything else?
I just believe it'd be a significant asset to Sun and Lake.
Oh, I
To
agree.
have all
He
these,
does what
all
he
these
said and
doctors
what he
come
said. I
in
think it'll be
and
awesome.
train in this area. And, we're growing and we need more people. We need more assets available to us. They've already added a big cath lab and it is significant. It is unbelievable. I walked through it. And to continue the growth of Advent Health and Sun and Lake, I think is imperative for all of us.
I want to make myself clear.
Yes, ma'am.
If you go through with what you said, I'm 100% behind it.
Yes.
I think it would be marvelous.
And the whole wellness
Wish.
center
Yeah.
concept, the issue there is with our foundation, it was a $5 million project before COVID. Then COVID
Right.
happened and our worlds changed. Now construction costs for that wellness center are upwards of $8 million. And we don't have a lot of dispensable income in our community. So we're depending on our local community to help us support those funding efforts. So when this opportunity came available from a different investor to come in with the pickleball, that's why we felt very strongly to come to you all to consider that opportunity, knowing we're still going to do our wholeness center.
Okay.
Kristen, I do think it's great. I would like to know more about it. It's
Okay.
like
Sure.
everything, I've heard for 4 months this was going on.
Mhm.
But it's like everything else, I think it's important for the board to maybe you take us out there and show us.
Absolutely.
Because it isn't going anywhere unless you get three of us
Yeah, exactly.
to go along, so. And I wouldn't want us to get too involved in something if the board doesn't want it.
Agree, because it is a
But
lot of,
it sounds good.
good.
I think it'd be great, but we just need to know more
I understand
what's
that.
going on.
Nope. Yeah, due
Mhm.
diligence, you all know it takes a lot of time to bring that to life. So I am happy to schedule additional meetings. so
Yeah,
you all can,
you can call me anytime and I'd love to,
Okay.
you take me around.
we can do that. I would love to do that. All right. Yes, sir.
The wellness.
Yes, that's,
Yeah, the wellness.
yes. Yes.
It never came to fruition.
500
It
was what we had asked for.
500,000.
500,000 is what we had asked for. Mhm, mhm. Yes. Mhm. No. Absolutely. I understand. I would be happy to support you all with that. Yep, I could do that. All right? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. All the above. All the above. So Silver Sneakers, you all know of those different programs available for wellness initiatives that you can do it through your insurance too. There is just a general membership fee that we would have as well for our residents. Mhm. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Insurance. Yes. What kind of rates? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. Yep. Mhm. So children, of course, will be able to come with their parents, their family. We don't have any childcare services that we would include. We looked at that, but that's just a really big liability for Advent Health. So we would not adopt something like that, but we would absolutely offer family plans and work with people in our community to make sure we can bring in the youthful. Because absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Yep. Yes. Yes. Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. That would all be considered. So, yes, sir. Mhm. No, sir. No. Just to consider something with the land for us. Mhm. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up all this time. but
Thank you so much.
I appreciate all of the questions and your input. Thank you all.
Thanks, Kristen.
You're welcome. And I'm happy to come back anytime and could just come to a general meeting to chit chat with you all. Take care.
Oh, be sure to get a hold of us.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, the next thing on the action agenda is Number B, do you want,
Yes, sir. So, every year we have capital purchases for vehicles across the district because there's about a 6-month lead time. Wanted to bring this out early so we can get approval. It's already budgeted for. This is going to be a piggyback purchase of a public safety SUV style. We found over the past 2 years that our pickup trucks, while valuable in certain circumstances, we're having to move more people around, either invalid or handicapped or whatnot, and the pickup truck is just 2 seats and it's a challenge. So we're wanting to go more police-like with our public safety vehicles and have the pickup truck stay for permitting and so on. So what we're asking is the approval to purchase using the Sheriff's Cooperative Purchasing Program through the city of Sebring. We have a contract with them that we call the piggyback, part of our purchasing policy, and there'll be a $45,000 cap. We use that higher number because since we won't receive this vehicle for about 6 months, the value of our trade-in may drop, and that's why we don't know how much we'll get for a trade-in at that point in time, because we're putting about 20,000, 25,000 miles a month on our vehicles with our public safety vehicles. We got 90 miles of road, they're driving all day long around Sun Lake. So we'll know that, but $45,000, we'll buy the vehicle through Allen J. It's the sheriff's cheapest rate, and that includes all the outfitting of that vehicle. We do not, by no means, go to the extreme of a police outfit. We don't have a cage in the back and all that type of stuff. We have a public safety, very simple vehicle, AED, first aid kit, lights, and so on, and marking appropriately. So that'll be the case. For your information purposes, we track all our vehicles in Sun and Lake. Here's a very simple list of our vehicles with the lifespan. So right now, as you see, we have a 10-year or 200,000 mile lifespan that we shoot for all our vehicles. Our average annual repair is about 5,000 per vehicle. And right now, after 15 to 20 years, we review them because we do have some vehicles that will not meet that mileage, but are very old, but they're still functioning. As you see here, there's a few vehicles we're looking at in the near future buying new, but there's also what I call the RAV, the review for some of our vehicles and our public safety and so on, or utility, that we'll be reviewing about utilization as well as years, age, as well as miles. And this is how we track all our vehicles. So I'm very comfortable that right now, this year, it's one SUV for purchase. So we're looking for a motion to approve the piggyback contract utilization for this SUV purchase so we can get the ball rolling. And at the point in time, we will do a trade-in and for no more than $45,000 out of our capital budget, which is $65,000 for the year. So we still have a buffer in there to buy another vehicle or another piece of equipment, I should say, if needed. Subject to your question. Sir.
Is there a reason we couldn't wait till next month with Mr. Norton gone?
There's a 6-month, we can table it, sure, sir. There's a 6-month wait.
I'm just asking, I mean, is it,
There's enough of, there's a quorum.
well, yeah, I know.
We could wait. If you all want to wait, sure, we could wait.
I have a question
Sure.
on
Yep.
the trade-in. Have you gotten a competitive bids on the trade-in?
It's part in there. We just, at this point in time, because it's 6 months away, we use the Blue Book trade-in. Once I get direction here, we'll go to Allen J and try to lock in a trade-in price so we can lock it in with the anticipated miles we'll put on. It's in the $10,000 to $12,000 range right now, sir, for trade-in value. I mean, we keep pretty good shape of our pickup trucks. It's just really they burn miles.
Any other,
I make a motion to approve the purchase of a 2026 Ford SUV for the maximum $45,000 for use in public safety using the Florida Sheriff Vendor Program, the piggyback contract purchase.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Supervisor Phillips?
Wait a minute, any public comment? Come on up here if you want to.
Would we not be better served by getting, I mean, we have quality new new, used vehicles, especially through the sheriffs and our local Alan J. Does a lot of work for our community and supports us. So I was just curious as, I'm sorry. Rhonda Barish. It was just a curious question as to why we needed one brand new one versus maybe a couple good used ones. That is my only question.
Sure. So for vehicles, for public safety, utility, and a few others, we definitely go new from the get-go just because of the reliability. We do buy used equipment. We have a used lift. We have a used pumper truck and that type of stuff. So when it's a vehicle that I say I will accept risk, if it has to go into the shop,
Yeah.
then we'll do that. But for our one public safety vehicle that's on the road, we want to start new, man, because of the warranties, the factory warranties, and it just makes a lot more sense for the critical vehicles. But trust me, we look at used options for some of our fleet. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Just curious.
So Bob, just let me ask one more question before I vote.
Yeah.
It would be best for you don't think you can get another 30,000 miles out of that?
We're going to get another 6 months use out of it, sir. That's what I'm saying. If we drop the request with Alan J tomorrow, we will not get this vehicle for 6 more months.
Okay,
So we're going to put about close to another 80,000 miles on our pickup truck.
okay,
And that's where our value might dip for our trade-in value, that I'd like to be able to tell the Alan J that board approved it, lock in a trade-in rate right now, sign the paperwork, and then we can just ride it till the delivery. So
okay,
yes,
that makes sense. then.
we are going to drive it more. It's not going
Yeah,
to just sit in the shed right now.
Okay. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
and President Gilpin.
Yes. Add-on items,
Nothing add-on, sir.
petitions and communications.
You all received the one discussion or petition that we received from the residents. You all have copy of that. We just added to the official record, and it's in the packet.
Okay, thank you. Staff reports.
Boss,
Excuse me?
they want it read.
General counsel.
That's up to.
Janice, you want to address that?
Yeah, this item on the agenda is just a reporting of the general manager to the board. There was space for public comment at the beginning of the meeting. I don't see any place here for public comment for petitions and communications. Generally, it's just reporting to the board. So that's the practice of this board. I would advise that it is done at public comment, but if that's the practice of the board, I'll defer to board discretion.
If anybody wants to speak,
Yeah, and just for people's information, it's in the record, public record. The board secretary doesn't take verbatim minutes, so if it's read, it's not going to, it's probably better to have it as a document in the record than in the minutes.
And I just have one simple question. Would-
I'll defer to the board whether they're taking public comment on this.
I just want to know if there's an error in it, are you going to allow it? Because there are errors in it.
In the letter?
Yes.
It didn't come from the staff or the board, sir.
okay, we're going to move on to general
Are you kidding?
counsel.
Yeah.
No,
No, you can't.
I mean, this is the way you treat the people?
Ask a question. No question.
we allowed Mark. No, we already had that, so, but thank you for your, it's going to be it's in the public record, so.
Come back to the next meeting and talk in public opinion, public comments. Hold on. Hold on.
I don't know who told you that.
Pardon?
You can read, sir, that's up to you all. It's up to the board decision if they want it read.
This is a policy decision, not a legal question.
I think it should be read. If they want it read, that should be read.
At very least, I received a public response from Mr. McLaughlin, supervisor, to me, Scott Wyatt, resident, and I would like to publicly respond to that at very least.
That's up to you all, sir.
No, Janice, go on.
This is again not a legal question. It's a policy decision of the board. If the consensus of the board is to have it read, you could advise the public accordingly. Is it a consensus of the board to have this letter read?
Somebody can make a motion or do it, but isn't a 2-2 tie? No.
Well, now you know what they're going to vote.
Yeah.
Now you know what's going to happen on the vote.
Well, I would assume it would be. No, we haven't talked about it.
I would ask all of you to come back to the next meeting in December so this can be discussed at the public output.
Janice, I think, are we a little bit out of order? Are we a little bit out of order?
We have an agenda. The agenda is posted. Public comment happens at a certain time. So I would comply with the board's direction here that public comment, if you all wish to speak about something, that come to the next meeting and speak about it during public comment where you're given ample opportunity to be heard.
And you can welcome to come back next meeting, and if you want it, you know, it's crazy. Janice, would you go on to general counsel report now?
Sure.
Please.
All right, we all good? We're moving forward. Just wait for the room to clear. Oh, Lord.
Hey, out of order. Okay.
All right, to board business. You know, based on that, you may all want to look at your local rules and make it really clear when public comment is allowed and not allowed. That way, everybody has the expectation and it doesn't change from, you know, meetings or whatever. So I would recommend that this board reviews its policy on public comment. So we're going to talk about the procurement policy and purchases because that's been a question that's come up. And I think it's a good opportunity as new council coming in to take a look at your purchasing policy and how district makes its purchases, just in order to the board to understand and the public to understand how the business of the district operates. So next slide. All right, big picture. District money is taxpayer money. It's very important that you spend it wisely. This ensures first off, you want to make sure that you have transparency in all your purchases. They should be open to the public to ensure fairness and prevent corruption. One of the tenets of public purchasing is to ensure that there's fair and open competition. You want to be able to encourage competition between the vendors so that the district gets the best price. You have to balance that need against the administrative costs of doing a formal competitive solicitation, which can take 90 days and significant staff time. And as I understand it, there is no purchasing department at the district. It might be something in the future for the district to consider. The other thing you want to consider is value for the money. You got to make sure that, you know, the things that you do buy or the services that you do contract for bring best value for the district. And that's not necessarily the lowest price. It's really can be a number of factors, minimum qualifications, et cetera. So those are big 3 pillars of public purchasing that you all should be aware of. Next slide. So really the district's purchasing procedures are set through a variety of legal means. First of all, we have the Florida statutes. Florida statutes do not dictate your policy, the specifics of your policy, but they do have some general guidelines or general rules that apply to all local governments. These are things like the auditor selection. When you select an auditor, there are very specific purchasing requirements related to the selection committee. When you're hiring architects, engineers, surveyors, mappers, or landscape engineers, there's a specific Florida statute that tells you how that's done. It's through a request for qualifications, where price is not the main consideration, qualifications are. And the one that's, I think, most important to you all is in Chapter 189, the Special Districts statute that gives special districts specific authority to piggyback off of other local governments, state, and federal governments. And you saw an example of that with the general manager using the Florida Sheriff's contract, and that's a really good example of one of these piggyback or cooperative purchases. Other than the statute, the next layer of regulation comes from the district charter. The district charter, and I've included in your package, there is a section in the district charter that determines, it sets some kind of bare bones thresholds for purchases, one of them being, the threshold by which you have formal solicitation, which we're going to get into. Next level, after the charter, to get into the specifics, the day-to-day operations, the district has adopted a procurement policy, and that gives very specific direction on how things should be purchased within the district. So those are the 4 different layers. So I think I just want to talk about some of the main things that we have here, the competitive bidding thresholds. So we know there's 2 types of competitive bidding. There's formal competitive bidding, which is an official invitation to bid or request for proposals that's published for a certain amount of days and people respond to it. Those are formal, that's formal competitive solicitation. There's also informal competitive solicitation where staff gets 2 or 3 quotes and gets the best price. The way that your procurement policy is set up is that the district must initiate formal competitive solicitation. That means issuing an ITB or an RFP when the purchase is expected to be over $25,000. Unless the purchase is exempt. And there's a number of exemptions that is in your purchasing policy in the district charter that we are going to talk about. This threshold of $25,000 is set by the district charter, which has been adopted by the Highland County Commission. So this board doesn't have the authority to change that threshold. And we see a lot of districts increasing that threshold as the cost of goods gets higher and higher. A lot of districts have gone to 35, or $50,000, some at $60,000 is the threshold for competitive solicitation. Unfortunately, this board doesn't have the ability to change it unless the county will change it. So that's the threshold you're going to be working with. As I said, we have informal competitive solicitation, anything from $5,000 to $25,000. Staff is required to get 2 or 3 bids to make sure that they get the best value for the district. And then anything under $5,000, it can just be purchased as long as the price is fair and reasonable. Purchases can't be split up to avoid these thresholds. There's very clear direction both in Florida law and your procurement policy and in district charter not to split them up. The next things. I think I have one of my slides out of order. So I talk about this exempt purchases. So we've got a bunch of purchases under $25,000 that don't come to this board. Well, who approves them? The question is, well, anything under $500 has to be approved by a department head. So staff isn't going out and buying things willy-nilly. A department head has some oversight. Anything between $500 and $1,000 must be approved by either the finance director or the department head. So again, another level of oversight for bigger purchases. And then anything between $1,000 and $25,000 is approved by your general manager, the finance director, and the department head, all 3 of them together. So again, considerable review and oversight by your staff for purchases under $25,000. As we said before, anything over $25,000 must go through the formal process unless it's exempt. And if it's exempt, how is it approved? Well, the board approves the contract like we saw here with the purchase of the truck, or they can approve it via a budget line item. The next slide. Again, I want to reiterate that the purchase amount is based on the total amount expended for all years of the contract. If the service costs $10,000 a year and it's a 3-year contract, you will be issuing a formal competitive solicitation for it. So it is cumulative over the life of the contract. Again, not being split up. Piggyback agreements, the way your purchasing code reads, it's all piggyback agreements, regardless of the threshold, are to be approved by the Board of Supervisors When we looked at this policy, we are making a recommendation that it should be consistent. If the district manager or the general manager has the authority to execute and approve contracts under $25,000, then he should also have that same authority for piggyback contracts. Again, as it stands right now, all piggyback agreements, according to your policy, all piggyback agreements are approved by the board. Let's talk about the authority to execute contracts. That's section 7.3 of your code. Contracts that are less than 25,000 can be signed by the general manager, or are to be signed by the general manager. So you won't be required, the president will sign, is not required to sign anything when it's under 25,000. The way the procurement policy reads, it gives the general manager the authority to sign contracts between 25,000 and 100,000. That I think is unusual, considering that purchases over $25,000 have to be approved by the board. So that is an inconsistency we've noted in your contract, and I think speaking with Boz, is he does not sign anything over $25,000. He doesn't want to be responsible for that, so he'll always bring those contracts to the board. So if you're making changes to the procurement policy, this is one that I would recommend. Cap the general manager's signing authority to 25,000, consistent with his purchasing authority. That was our recommendations. Let's talk about the exemptions, because these are really important, because as I said before, doing a formal competitive solicitation is very time, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of staff time, it takes your time as a selection committee. We use you as a selection committee. So the procurement policy has a number of exemptions from competitive solicitation. And that is specifically the piggyback contract. If it's, the charter says that if it's been competitively procured by another local government in the last 1 year, this district can piggyback off of it. They can piggyback off of the work that, let's say, the city of Sebring has done to publish, to select, to go through the process. So we see a lot of special districts really relying on the piggyback ability, the ability to piggyback off other contracts. Sole source purchases, if you have a purchase that only one vendor can supply, that is exempt from competitive solicitation. This also includes when you buy equipment that has a warranty that says only certain people can fix this particular generator, there's no need to go out for competitive solicitation, because it's really, you're only one person or one vendor can fix it, so it's a sole source. Emergency purchases, that's another thing. If you need something right away, there's a storm coming, the procurement policy does give the district manager or general manager, I apologize, the authority to make these purchases and ratify them with the board after the emergency has passed. Litigation related services and purchases of bulk quantities of asphalt and fuel. As I've spoke to the general manager, I don't think you specifically use that exemption that often. There's no bulk purchases. So the next slide, I just want to talk a bit about piggyback agreements, and we have a good example in our file here. This is a specific grant by the Florida legislature to special districts. Cities don't have this specific grant, nor do counties, but special districts may purchase goods and services from purchasing agreement, from special districts, municipalities, and counties which have been procured pursuant to a competitive bid. The only thing you can't use a piggyback for is architect and engineering services. As I said, under Florida law, those must be procured in a separate way. And the other requirement under Florida law is that the underlying agreement must comply with the district policy. And the district policy or the district charter is that in order to piggyback from another local government, that local government was required to have done the competitive solicitation within the last year. So it's current, it's fresh. This is something I think I want to talk about. There's no legal requirement for the district to enter into a separate contract with piggyback agreements. And in fact, we see that quite a bit with special districts, just with always with the lean staff. Sometimes they'll just piggyback off of it. The contractor will send a letter saying, we agree to, abide by these terms and conditions for your, and provide the service to you in accordance with the pricing that we've given somebody else, the terms and conditions. We see it happening from a legal point of view. I particularly like it. I think that there has to be some sort of accountability and also the ability for the district to impose their own terms on the contractor If, for example, this district is piggybacking off of an agreement by Sebring, they would be bound by Sebring's insurance requirements, its payment requirements, and those sorts of things. So it's an opportunity for the district to impose their own terms and conditions, and also it gives this board the ability to see what's been purchased under a piggyback agreement. So, very important. So sometimes they come in a budget and you're not exactly sure. So let's take a look at an example of a piggyback agreement. And I think in the general manager's report from August, actually, if you just go ahead one slide, Boz, there's every agenda, the general manager has in his report purchases over $25,000. And you'll see one here, and this is one that caught my eye. I was like, hey, what's that purchase for $391,000? What's that being approved? And the general manager informed me that, oh, that was a piggyback contract off the city of Sebring. So let's go back one slide. So you have you're using excavation point road repairs to do some repairs to the roadway. And how did we get that how did the district get that contractor to do the work? Well, in 2023, the city of Sebring did a formal solicitation for infrastructure and road repairs. They published it for 30 days. They had a selection committee. The board selected it. They entered into a contract. Then next year, the district decided to piggyback off the city's agreement. So the district piggybacked off the agreement. They did not execute a separate agreement, but you all approved it in a budget line item, road repairs up to a certain amount. Something this size, I would generally recommend that you have your own contract, especially when it's construction, import your liquidated damages and all sorts of other terms that you would agree. You don't have it here, but as a not to exceed amount, also very important for the contractors to know that they have a certain amount of money to work with. But, you know, you've approved it in the budget. I believe the work is almost complete. So, you know, going forward, I think it's something that you all want to consider. And again, the district manager reports on everything, purchases over $25,000. So at any time, I recommend you all take a look at that list. And if you see something that doesn't, you don't recognize, make sure to find out, you know, how is this contractor selected, and what's the total amount of the contract? Two big questions you want to be asking your general manager. It's my quick overview. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
I would like to make a recommendation that you start using agreements for piggyback contracts. I believe the general manager's in agreement, so going forward, if there's piggyback agreements, we'll just draft a very simple template that staff can just put on top of it, write in the date, write in the underlying agreement, and get it ready for the board package. And that's it.
We'll add that internal. That's not a problem.
That way you'll all
Janice,
know.
I'm going to get to public comment first, but I have do we approve piggyback contracts to board?
If it's a contract, if it's a, you know, contract between the district and the contractor, yes, that this contract would come to you. But this board has a practice of approving it via a budget line item, which is essentially the same, but you just don't approve the terms and conditions. So sometimes you get, as I see this one, you get a purchase order or an invoice, a pay application from the contractor, but generally you should be approving piggyback agreements, yes. Either, that's why I'm recommending everything go through a contract instead of as a budget line item. You have a little more control, a little more knowledge of the purchases made.
Is there a list that we have of all the piggyback contracts we have?
Sure.
I mean, do we? I mean, I'm not necessarily asking for it. I just want to know.
Yeah, I mean, other than excavation point, Allen J, there's really not that many. We use it as a purchase tool, but we don't use that a lot. We don't really use RFPs, and most of our expenses are below 25,000, so we don't do that a lot. So.
Okay. Any public comment?
Mark Carmona, Myrtle Beach Drive. My question to you, ma'am, we're getting ready to, at least we're investigating to build a banquet facility. 750,000. Is Boz gonna, when he puts out an ITB, RFP, whatever the case may be, all right? Is he gonna have the authority to go ahead and approve, say, a $100,000 contract? Or does it have to go through the board every time something like that happens?
All right, so is it a $100,000 invoice or a $100,000 contract? So if they have a,
Say we had a contractor that's gonna be building the structure for us. Could be over 100,000, all right? Does he have the authority to approve that, or does that have to go through the board, and do we have to wait for the board process to approve that?
they will have to approve the contract. They do not necessarily have to approve the invitation to bid. That can be done administratively. They will approve the contract, the amount, the terms and conditions, absolutely. And in fact, under Florida law, if it's over, gosh, I can't even remember the amount. I think it's over, if the project is over $2 million, it has to be issued by a formal competitive solicitation.
We're talking 750,000 is the
yeah.
budget on it now,
Yeah.
all right?
That's a budget line that was already approved.
So how you select, there's a difference between approving the amount, but how you select the contractor is going to be the decision. Are you going to piggyback off of somebody else's contract, or are you going to do a formal solicitation? And again, that's an administrative question. If they do, I would recommend that whatever contract that comes out of it is going to be approved by the board.
Okay, that answers that. It's just, it seems to me like it's a very time-consuming process to have to do something like that, especially when time is of the essence when we're trying to build something.
Yeah, absolutely. But by the same token, it gives, ensures that there's fair and open competition. Right, and so where it's a big purchase like that, especially with construction, if he can find, if the general manager can find another municipality that has built something similar, they might be able to use it, but yeah, it'll take 90 days to procure something easily and bond it.
Okay. I don't agree with that, and I'll just state that for the record. I used to build buildings for a living, and 90 days is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
That's already, that's already been approved. We've already approved that.
No, I understand, Beverly, but my point being, though, is that when you're sending out an invitation to bid, and you get 3 or 4 different RFP, 3 or 4 different contractors bidding on it, who has the authority to go ahead and approve which one? Is it just Boz, or is it the board has to approve each contract?
All right, so let me just answer that. I didn't realize that. If you have, issue an invitation to bid, you have 3 contractors respond, the invitation to bid could have the lowest price. The bidder with the lowest price will get the award. And that's a simple administrative, the bids are read out publicly under Florida law, under an ITB. The bids are read out at a public meeting, and the lowest price will automatically get that bid.
Okay.
So that's why we oftentimes recommend the RFP, which is the request for proposals, which allows the district to evaluate qualifications of the builder. Do they have the staffing? Do they have scheduling? Have a number of
Do they have a complete
qualifications?
scope of work?
Right. Do they have, all of those things? And the district would put together the scope of work. So we generally recommend a request for proposals. However, then you need a selection committee, and the selection committee has to meet. And the selection committee will rank them 1, 2, 3, and the ranking will go to the board. And the board will then say, we're going to go with the first top ranked one.
Okay.
So that's what brings the time in. When you go for a request for
Right,
proposals,
exactly.
that's the,
Point I'm trying to make.
We have done that, we don't do that often. We've done that in the past. If you remember, Columbus Boulevard, up there on the north side, FEMA, this was Hurricane Ian, I believe, damaged the road. We did 3 bids. We had a selection criteria, evaluation criteria already baked into the RFPs that came back. So we opened, ranked them by the criteria given, and then that was brought for the board to select based on the criteria recommendation, how that ranked, but also based on, they could pick another if they wanted, based on the evaluation criteria. So we've done that, but it's really almost a year and a half ago is the last time we did that process.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
all right, just the second thing in my legal report. I just was reporting last month, but it's I guess now a little bit of old news, but the statute that prohibited people from openly carrying weapons was found to be unconstitutional. The Attorney General has directed, issued a memorandum stating that that is now the law of the land, that people can openly carry weapons, and has directed law enforcement not to enforce the laws against open carry. And so the question has come up, well, what does that mean for the district? Well, it really, the district has to comply with the law. However, there are some restrictions already in Florida law for weapons. So the big restriction is that people are prohibited from bringing firearms, concealed or otherwise, into a meeting of the Board of Supervisors. Nobody can have a gun in this. Open, concealed, otherwise. That's Florida law. The second is that the district is allowed to issue.
Even if you have a permit?
Even if you have a permit. Yeah, you cannot bring anybody who has a weapon. And so it's actually unlawful to bring a weapon into a meeting of a Board of Supervisors or any meeting of the, like, city commissioners or county commissioners. So I noticed that you don't have a notice on your door to the meeting. Generally, I recommend that you put some sort of notice that this is a public meeting and guns are prohibited, and please still leave them in your car or whatever it is. Otherwise, you could be fined for trespass. So that's one of my recommendations of the memo. If you haven't already been doing it, which I notice you haven't been, just advise people not to bring, I mean, these meetings can get somewhat contentious, and so for the protection of you all and the public who attends, the Florida legislature has seen to it that no matter what gun restrictions are out there, they have carved out an exception for meetings of the governing body of a local government. The second thing is the district also has the authority to restrict their employees from carrying weapons while in the scope of their duties. So I've noticed this is again a decision of the district. If I don't think there are any restrictions right now on their employees carrying weapons either openly or concealed, and I think that was a question that I wanted to raise with the district is what's your policy for employees? So that's something you want to consider, especially now that with the change of law that people could bring their weapons, you know, openly carry weapons to their desk at work. So it's a decision that you all have to make and establish a policy going forward.
So since this went live, we haven't had an issue even across the district, even people walking down Sunlight Boulevard in our clubhouse, anything like that. So it's been live for 30 days and nothing has bubbled up to that level. The only thing that, and that's why we haven't put any signs, because I wanted you all to at least hear it and provide guidance if there's any specific things you guys want. My recommendation would be to follow not only the legal advice, but the sheriff highly recommended that if there's some critical spaces here, clubhouse, courts, pool, district office, if we want to have a sign, which is only worth the paper it's written on, if we want to have a sign that says that, I'm fine with doing that, we can do that. We can handle the employee through our employee manual and our employee discussions. I'll deal with that with my staff. But that we're willing to do that. I just wanted to get direction or any critical feedback from you all before we start popping signs up all over the place.
I have a permit, I carry this church. Sorry.
Gotcha.
I've been having this conversation with so many of my boards, I cannot tell you based on, what about this? I'm like, you actually, the Attorney General opinion on this is even district board supervisors can't carry either, so, yes.
Bill. April.
Yeah. Are you taking public comment?
I
We usually don't do public comment for staff.
Okay,
Until the
but-
very end of a staff report, sir, we do public comment, but not during this.
Bill, could you just wait for a minute? Okay, we have public comment again coming up. We just losing a little control here, that's all.
You might as well sit down, Bill.
Bill, it'll be a while.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think in my opinion, in today's environment, we ought to have at least put the signs up.
Yeah, I don't care either, you know, it's, to me, that's something you should worry about, not us.
No, I'm with you, but I don't want signs to come up and then I get 4 angry phone calls from my bosses saying, what the hell are you doing?
like you said, it's only what the paper is
Yes.
written on.
Is that consensus, Dr. McLaughlin? You
Yeah.
comfortable with that, or, okay,
Good.
all right, we'll handle it,
Okay.
internal, and we'll put what we need up, so. I'll get with you about.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I know there's a question about the type of weapons, and I have to pull up the statute to know what it applies to. Yeah, it's long guns. There is a city attorney who has issued an opinion stating that the way the language of the statute is, it does not contemplate long guns. I think that's ludicrous. I do not agree with that, but a gun is a gun is a gun, whether it's long, short, whatever. But there is something on these air rifles, so let me just check that out. Yeah, let's see. I'll come back when your public comment, I'll be ready for that answer. And that concludes my legal report.
Okay. Oz, are you next?
So real quick, you have 2 months worth of GM reports, so I'm not going to belabor the point. You guys have plenty of reading there. You'll notice in the current GM's report, because we didn't have the golf financials, there's some stuff highlighted in yellow. That's why. That's the old data from last month. So once I get that updated from Troon's financials, I'll put that back out, put it on the website for the most current October GM's report. As for GM topics, we continue to do swale clearance across the district, still focused in Unit 4, and then we're moving down to Matanzas and the ABC streets to work on that. You'll see the piece of equipment that we used up north, we're going to be running it right down Sun Lake Boulevard, not only the Sun Lake, but then the street in, to clear the swales to get the water out to the preserve. So that starts happening next week. We found the most efficient use of that is costing us about $1 a foot to use that, which is a great value for that piece of equipment. So I'm putting him to work for many miles across the district to get our swales cleaned out. And if you haven't seen it, just go up to Unit 4 Romero Street, and it's made a lot of money for us up there. Interest upgrades, we've done the upgrades part. I just got a sign vendor that will refresh our Sun and Lake signage. So that's going to happen. You see the digital signs up there now. They're going to be networked in. IT's working that with connectivity to get those digital signs upgraded or connected, so we're all saying the same thing. And we'll definitely have some different verbiage at the different locations. But we're going to replace the signs right now. We're probably going to remove, or we may just leave alone, the golf and recreation community language. Our logo is Centerpiece Community, but I didn't want to spend the $30,000 to put letters up. So more to follow on that. I'll bring back that to you, what our recommendation will be if we want to change that language up. We're in the last month of hurricane prep. We are prepped. We're continuing to prep. We've got the FEMA reads every day. So I'm very comfortable if something happens this last month, we'll address it as need be. Sadly, we're still dealing with Hurricane Milton's and payouts from FEMA from last year. So it's good that they give us at least 1 year to catch up and to get paid and get reimbursed. Once we get that in, that'll be a couple $100,000 in reimbursement from last year's hurricane. So that'll be good. There's a new commercial build going on, and you see the schematic in your packet there. Frontage Road, you know where Buffaloocas is, the restaurant? Yeah. Just that green space south of Buffaloocas. So if you see the map on there, a new commercial contractor came in, bought that land, approached us, talked about what they want to do there. It's a county project, I'll say, because the county is involved in the zoning and so on for it. It's going to be commercial office spaces, not doctors. They want to do businesses there. So maybe nail, stuff like that. They're not going to be doctors' offices per se. But it's just south of Buffaloocas, between the dead space. I believe there's a pharmacy there, the green space, and then Buffaloocas. So that's going up in the near future. We're at the county level for zoning. We have asked for a landscape barrier on the backside, fence and landscape barrier, because there's residents right there on the backside. So they've advocated on that, and they'll be fixing that up. And they're paying all the connectivity there into us. So as you see there, very similar to the discussion we'll have with Advent, this build-out, this commercial build-out, about $10,000 per unit will be hookup fees to the district, which is 7 units, so that's $70,000. About $1,500 per unit assessment. Wastewater fees, they're going to pay $3,500 each. So at the end of the day, in the first year, the district will get about $55,000, and then every year afterwards, about $10,000. So that's great for the district, for our financials. and that puts the burden on the commercial side, as rightfully so, to take a little bit ease off the residents. What I would very simply say, go back in time to this Advent discussion. Whatever we do with Advent, whatever they're building there or asking to build there will generate about $200,000 for the district every year. Between the housing, the infrastructure they're going to do, it's a win-win for the district, and they would do everything, we would do nothing on the build out. So more to follow on that as we build that. Okay. Pool updates, we're tied to the federal shutdown. Sadly, FEMA's involved in it because it's a flood zone. FEMA's got to sign off on it because FEMA shut down. It's a federal government entity, and the one guy that does those signatures is not working until the federal shutdown stops. Then that person will come back to work, and our FEMA certification for our flood zone will begin that process again for our pool. So the vendor's ready to go. We've worked out the specifics of the, where the locations are going to be. We've taken a tree down. We're going to move the water fountain back there in the next week or two. So we're doing as much as we can. So when the vendor comes back and we get the FEMA certification, we'll be moving forward on that. We left on your seats there all the holiday events for the rest of the year. So please mark those down, participate if need be, or if you can. That also takes us all the way through Christmas holidays. Show more to, yes, ma'am.
The Veterans Day ceremony, is that going to be like last year? We're going to have a tent?
12:30 tents, yes, ma'am. At the same place, 2 tents on each side for cover. We did get the Sun Lake Elementary is going to provide their choir again this year. Actually, the upgrade this year is the, and I'm blanking out on the name. It's the horse therapy group up by the college.
Ridge.
Ridge. They're going to come with 2 horses with flags. It's their color guard. They're participating with us this year. So that's going to be a nice feature they're going to add for the Veterans Day. Some choir, and our guest speakers, I believe, is E8, which is a master sergeant, I believe, lives in Sun Lake. He's going to be the speaker. We found that individual. So 12:30, we tried to tie it so you can do your Veterans Day events around the county and other locations. Come to us, and then every veteran that attends there will get a free lunch on the district, like we do every year. So show up there, we'll give you a ticket, and you'll be able to go in there and get a free lunch on the district if you participate in the ceremony. Don't show up at 4 o'clock and try to get a ticket. Not going to happen. Unless you're a 1-star general or above, I may let you in, but colonels and below, you're not going to get a ticket. All right? So that's how that works. Street lights, yes, they're starting to go in. So all the poles are in. We're starting to put the heads in. It's about 7 to 8 a day they're going to do. So we're looking for the rest of this month. We should be fully installed. That'll bring us to the 220 lights installed across the district. And then we are basically done for 2026. I'll be bringing back to the board in the next budget cycle to add another 150 next year. And we'll continue to energize the district. So we are continuing on our DOGE efforts, our Department of Government Efficiency internally. So the state of Florida did not direct anything. The county did not direct us. We did an internal DOGE. The departments have provided their feedback. I built an evaluation team, I call it, which involves some citizens that were very interested, some past businessmen, some past accountants, some past very smart folks that want to help us, and they're going to be on some of these teams to basically look at us with a critical eye. And then I gave them 90 days, and then probably in the February timeframe, we'll do a final report, bring it back to you all if there's any concerns for us with the DOGE efforts. And we're using the state of Florida checklist, so we're not creating anything. State of Florida gave us a very detailed checklist of what they're looking at. We added it to us, and the teams that we've identified are doing that. I'm looking forward to the results there. We had a discussion for you all. So next year, starting January, first Tuesday in most cases, we have some adjustments because of holidays. First Tuesday of the month, we'll keep the board meetings. Every other month, you see it highlighted in dark. That's the night meeting like this. So basically 6 night meetings, 6-day meetings. So we'll continue that rhythm until you guys direct otherwise. And then we added some of the critical meetings there between the landowners vote or the landowners meeting and some of the strategic and budget meetings we do and the assessment meeting. So that's set. This is on our website for next year, as well as our schedule. Just threw this in there because last week I was in Tampa for the International City and County Managers Association annual conference. It's the first time they came to Florida in a while. I'm not only a member, but a credentialed city manager. Decided to attend and, get some professional development there. While there, I was selected to be on these two national level committees to represent our interests for veterans as well as performance management for staff. So I was very honored that my first conference, we're discussing with all the bigwigs there, and they went and they said, hey, we want you to serve on these two committees. So I look forward to doing that. It'll all be, within, duty hours or whatever it is. But I was very honored to accept that appreciation by the ICMA folks. Here's what I start with you with this Troon valuation. And honestly, it's as simple as I can make it. So for the past month, to the left is what Troon, in my opinion, has provided the district. Be it everything from a monthly video meeting to they sent their food and beverage guy to review our restaurant. They saved us some money on fertilizers, a lot of money, $45,000 with their discounts. And but they did increase our payroll by 11% because of HR benefits. So that was a nice thing. And they're starting a Troon Access Rewards program. This is very similar to like a frequent flyer program where you all that play can use Troon points to do something else. More to follow on that. That's the left side. So on the right side is what we as a district, nothing tied to Troon, have continued to do. So that's as simple as I can make it, the value of Troon. You'll see this over the next few months, and then the board, you'll make a decision, direction of me of what you want to do with continuing with Troon for what we pay them or cutting ties and going to full district. A lot of the legwork, a lot of the operational stuff is always going to be us. Troon's not involved whatsoever. You see some of the ancillary stuff at the higher level that Troon gets involved. So if you want this formatted differently, if you want more information, please tell me otherwise, and then this will be the level of detail that I'll give you guys moving forward. Okay, some photos coming up here. So it costs us a lot of money, I'll say, in manpower to light up our holidays, our Sun Lake Boulevard, our buildings and so on. We're trying something a little bit different for some of the locations, mostly Sun Lake Boulevard. We're going with obviously technology is changing, it's a lot cheaper. We're going to light up all our main specimen trees along Sun Lake Boulevard with lights that can change color to recognize different holidays. That'll save us hundreds of hours of manpower stringing lights up across all our trees. So that'll be a good thing. So you start seeing that across the district buildings as well as the district specimen trees in our major focal points. Saves us money, but still gives us a very nice aesthetic to the district, and we'll be able to quickly change them for all the different holidays, red, white, and blue, orange for Halloween, and so on and so forth. So looking forward to that. You're going to start seeing that on Sun Lake Boulevard. We just redid the court back here last 2 months ago now, and so it's been very appreciated by all the folks playing on basketball. And you see some of the landscape upgrades we're doing with our entrances, pretty much done there. This is the work we're doing at the swales. And the interesting thing, now this is going back Hurricane Ian, so 3 years, 4 years. We finally got the building that was damaged by Hurricane Ian at plant number 4. It was totally blown away. That's the new building. We finally got the FEMA money. We finally got the building to come in, and now they're installed, and we're starting to do the inside with our own local labor to get an operational utility office up there that was destroyed. And they've been working out of multiple locations for the past 4 years. So it just takes a lot of time with some of this hurricane recovery. So that's up at Unit 4. If you're ever up in that area, you can check out. That's where they're storing all their pipe. That's going to free up space in my garage, in the district office, get all that pipe and valves out of there, put it back where it needs to be in utilities, and their vehicles now can park under the overhang there and a bunch of other things. So it definitely improves our ability across the district. Next board meeting, 2 December. It's a morning meeting, and then that's it for the rest of this year. We have no other specialty meetings, and we are still sticking with our approved proposed holidays, which are approved now. You all approved them last month for 2026. Go right into your 20. We kind of touched on this. This is your 2025 and over. This was last month. Nothing out of the ordinary. A lot of regular payments we do to insurance, the water meters, nothing Duke Power. But definitely for your visibility, so you're aware of it. And then this was this current month. We talked about the excavation point, a few others. And your golf committee, Mr. President, we have 2 months' worth of reporting here. I highlighted some areas in red or highlighted that we as staff, when we attend these things, we get some feedback from them. The only of note, and I believe we're tabling it because we didn't have time to get a selectee, is the president that was selected by you moved out of the district, so she's not able to continue to be president. You need a district member that lives in a district, so that position's vacant. They will be meeting next week to have their meeting. They don't need a president to have their meeting. We'll have staff attend that, but we're going to need, if not this meeting, next meeting, for the president to designate a new president for the chairman for the golf committee, if we're going to continue that. So that's just situational awareness.
Are there candidates available for that?
That's a direction that, the way we do it is chartered by the president. Yeah. Yep.
I just want to tell all you.
If you have any recommendations, you can call me.
I was just asking if you were considered candidates.
Oh, yeah, I just found out about it, so, last week.
I would be interested.
That was my first job at Sun Lake. I was president of the golf committee a billion years ago. Second one. Yeah. And look where I am now.
And this
So
came
be
up in a sidebar with some of the supervisors. You'll see in there's some asks or, hey, can you check into something? That is not a direction by citizens to staff.
No,
That's an ask.
that's an
And now we're doing our due diligence and research. Is it something we can do? Is something that's budgeted for? And then we bring it to the board for their support, either to do it if it's not budgeted, or if it's something that it's a simple, can you fix the tee box on number 9? Then I direct Jimmy to go fix the tee box on number 9. It's pretty cut and dry. But if they're asking, do you see in there an ice machine? That's a couple $1,000 purchase. We do some research and we'll bring it back if need be to the board for direction. So this is really their just summary, their minutes, and then we take it to staff work after that. And other than what our staff is doing, which is a lot every day, if there's any questions, sub to your questions, board. That's all I got. Sir.
Was there an update on the lawsuit with the property appraiser's office?
Pass the legal.
Yeah. The county has filed a motion to dismiss on procedural grounds that we have an argument against, and so we'll be filing a response. They'll be having a hearing on that shortly.
Is it something about we didn't file an appeal, something like that?
There is no requirement to follow appeal under prior case law on this exact same issue, so we have precedent for the reason for not filing an appeal.
But we'll be hearing about that in the future.
You will.
Any other questions from staff?
I hope you didn't mention it, but have you got a meeting for us before the end of the year on the ethics committee or
Yes.
Yes,
We're going to do it right after the next board meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll take a break, we'll do a lunch break. If you want to spend, I think I got Dr. McLaughlin and Mr. Herrick, you're doing it online. Is that a true statement?
Correct.
So is that true, sir? You're good
Yes, sir.
still? So those two will do it online. We sent them the links. The other 3, you all selected to do it. You can still do it online if you want.
so we
But
can
the
do
other
it,
3
we'll
will
do
do
it
it
after the meeting?
right after the board meeting, 2
Next-
December.
okay.
Yes, sir.
It is,
Had you said that and I missed it, or?
We did it.
No,
We were
okay,
gonna
okay.
send out a note
So, yeah.
after
Well,
this.
Okay.
will that be open to the public or
it-
just anybody can attend that wants to?
Yes, sir.
sure,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's a public meeting. It's a 4-hour training. And my colleague Seth Bain, who does it with the Florida Association of Special Districts, he's going to come in and do the training. I think I'll assist him in just 1 or 2 sections, but he's going to come in and do the same training that he does for the Florida Association of Special Districts.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't figure out what you're talking about as far as training. What program are we talking about here?
The Florida statutes requires each board member to do 4-hour training on Florida ethics, public records, and sunshine law. It is available online to do the 4-hour training. You self-certify that you've done it. Our firm does it at this conference generally for special districts, but we can also come here and do the same presentation that, as I said, my colleague does for the special districts. We'll do it for the board members here.
You have to do it every year.
It's an open meeting. It's an open meeting.
It's an
Staff
open
will be
meeting,
here, board will
yeah.
be here. It has to be, yes, ma'am. It'll be, yeah, we'll get it out.
Okay, is that it?
That's all we
Any
got,
other
sir.
questions?
Public comment?
Yeah, got,
I know what the weapons are.
okay, number 11 is public comment on the general staff reports. So Bill, you're up.
I got my guns. I know what they are. I know.
Thanks. My audience out here. Bill Norquist, member of Center Lake for over 22 years. I just had a question, but first I gotta butter up this guy here because he's doing a terrific job here. He's good VA programs. And now it's gonna be expanded for the one coming up with animals involved, and it just, and it's never ending what this guy
Tigers,
comes up
monkeys,
with.
bears, everything.
So anyhow, I mean, simple little things. He mentioned about the lighting out Center Lake Boulevard and saving $45,000. What a great idea. I mean, just a simple thing. All right, now on the serious part, I didn't know if you were talking about, Beverly, about firearms, when a long rifle is permitted, carry and all this other stuff. But something serious on television, see every night, is the propelled guns. Now
Yeah.
you can wear them on your hip, or you can bring them in here. I have no idea. But
Bill?
let me finish. I
just-
waited
I
for
want
everybody else.
Clarification, are you saying pellet guns?
Yeah, it's a pellet gun. You
Air
can knock
rifle.
down somebody down
It's a
from
pellet
about
gun,
60 feet.
okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, the banana doesn't go up though. So anyhow, it's a serious type of thing because you don't know if the kids are going to have them and in school and all this other stuff. They can cause some serious injury. If you aim up high, you don't want to blame anybody, blind anybody. So I just want to know if you're going to kind of permit this. How is it going to stand?
Well, here it is. The way the statute reads is that concealed firearms and concealed weapons are not allowed in a board like this. A
Makes
weapon,
sense.
yeah, a firearm is any weapon, including a starter gun, which is designed to or may be readily converted to expel a projectile by action of an explosive. So would that include, I've never touched a gun in my life, so I have absolutely no idea what that means. That would include the air rifle?
There's a small
Yeah.
charge that expends it.
So
Okay.
basically,
That, no, none of those. And then weapons are dirk, I don't know what a dirk is, knife, metallic knuckles, slingshot, billy, tear gas gun, chemical weapon or device, or any other deadly weapon except for a common pocket knife, plastic knife, or blunt bladed table knife. So,
you didn't mention my machete.
so all of those things cannot come into this room.
Well, it's
while the board is
understandable.
meeting.
It's a safety valve. We got a lot of nutty people out there. But anyhow, I'm just concerned about the pellet thing because it could hurt somebody. And they say you don't have to have a license for it. You can bring it anywhere. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a good idea. you
I
know
think it
what
would,
mean?
I think it would fall under that. Yeah, I think it would fall under those
thanks.
definitions. So
2.5 hours here.
John Hunter, Pebble Beach.
He's
Just
an explosives
Janice,
guy. Yes.
I completely agree with you on, not board meetings or anything like that as far as weaponry. I'll caution the board, though. I don't know if you guys meant it or not, but I saw Boz's headlight up there, and I saw him with a bunch of stickers, and he was going to put them all over the place. I would caution the group on just sticking them everywhere. I mean, just, you start putting them on the restaurant, you start putting them over here, I think you're going to offend a lot of people and open it up to those people who like to do harm. When I see a no gun on something, it opens it up to someone who is violent to come into the restaurant or come in somewhere. So just be caution. I don't know what you meant by putting stickers up,
Sure.
but,
Understand.
the board,
absolutely.
meetings like this, I can't agree more, but just carte blanche, start putting them on golf carts. You're gonna get some.
Not the intent.
Negative feedback.
Not the intent.
Yep.
Mark Carmona again. Same train of thought that John was, but aren't we also controlled by Florida statutes where you cannot have a firearm? Maybe you can answer this, in a restaurant or a bar area? Isn't that something that is prohibited?
Yeah, this is, I believe the rules for private property owners are different, but since this is a governmental entity, that the only place that can be restricted is in this room or with employees.
So we
otherwise.
can't restrict the firearm in a bar?
And the bar, you mean?
Is that, I mean, here's our criminal justice man right here.
All right, hold on, here it is, yeah. Okay,
I have a concealed permit, but I don't carry in a bar, okay? Because I'm supposing that it's against the law to do that. Is that not correct?
There are a list of, let's see, the number of exemptions, there are many of them. Place of nuisance, courthouse, detention, courtyard, polling place, school, college, elementary school, career center, any portion of established license to dispense alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises, which portion of the establishment is primarily devoted to such purpose. So yes, you're right. In your restaurant, if it is primarily devoted to selling alcohol, like the bar,
Mm-hmm.
no concealed weapons.
Okay, do we need to post a signage up for that?
So I got direction from them.
Okay.
We'll sit down with sheriff as well as legal.
Yeah.
And we'll see the level of the signage that we will post.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I will be very tactical with it, strategic with it, and we'll do it the right way, because we don't want to be soft target, but at the same time, if I have someone that's treading in that area, I want to have the legal backing that we have some signage somewhere that says, sir, you need to leave.
Right.
And then we call the sheriff. So,
So
again, it's just worth the paper it's written on.
If we were to encounter something like that, who do we call? I mean,
Yes.
if we go to a restaurant or a bar and we see that they've got a firearm, all right?
Yep.
Who do we contact? Do we contact the sheriff's department?
It would be the sheriff's office because it's a criminal trespass.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's under the criminal code, it's criminal trespass, and that's why the sign is notice,
Mhm.
right? So in violating the law, you have to give people appropriate notice before you can, arrest them. So the sign is notice, then the next step is to call the police and have them arrested.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Hi, Debbie Turner, Myrtle Beach Drive. On that same note, I'm just curious if Florida statute says one thing and they have all their designations of where guns are allowed or not allowed, and we decide to go out and put signs up at the playground and the pool and all of those places, they're not in the statute, and we have an event with a firearm, are we as Sun and Lake going to be responsible for the fact that we were not policing our own rules here?
No, because the way that, interestingly enough, this interesting thing, this board cannot adopt rules outside of the law. The Florida legislature took action, I think it was with the city at that point, so around 2013, 2014, that completely preempted the field of weapons to the state. Only the state's responsible can regulate the weapons. In fact, the legislature went one step further and said, if this board adopts any rules that are inconsistent with the state's laws, each of these members can be found criminally liable and be fined up to $5,000. So the board cannot take any action outside of what the statute does. So
putting signs up in places that Florida law doesn't say you can't have firearms would not put them at risk.
that's correct. So there are places, as I said, in this, we have to go through this list with the district, there are 20 some odd exemptions.
Right.
So we have to go through with them individually and say, okay, does this comply, does this comply? Okay. Polling station. I'll give you this list.
Any other public comment? Okay, follow-up items?
We have nothing unless you have a directive for anything in December. you all wanna
Discussion
talk
to
about.
and from the board?